You know, in construction, the price you see, well, it's almost never the price you actually pay. Today, we're going to break down how a building gets its initial price tag and then pull back the curtain on the huge hidden costs that show up long after the ribbon is cut. So here's the big question, right? The one that's at the heart of the entire industry. We all see the glamorous grand openings, but we also hear about the catastrophic failures. What's the difference between the two? It's not luck. I can tell you that. It all comes down to planning.
I mean, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? A success story is a project delivered exactly as promised. But failure, that can mean anything from frustrating delays and massive cost overruns to, well, worse. The real takeaway here is that successful projects don't just happen. They are guided meticulously, from the very first sketch to the final coat of paint.
And that guidance, that's what we call construction planning. The best way to think of it is like the project's mission control. It's a super detailed roadmap that answers 4 critical questions and turns a really unique one-off mission, like building a house, into a process you can actually predict. But let's be real. You can have the best plan in the world, but it always comes down to the bottom line. For any client, any manager, any investor, this is the number that matters most. The thing is, getting to that number is a journey all on its own. And that journey, we like to call it the funnel of certainty. See, you start really wide at the top with just an approximate estimate, maybe a rough guess based on square footage, something that could be off by 30%. Then as the designs get better, you move into a preliminary estimate, getting a bit more accurate. And finally, once you have the complete drawings, you hit the bottom of the funnel, the detailed estimate. This is a highly accurate number that you can confidently take to the bank and start building with. Okay, so moving down that funnel from a wild guess to a rock-solid number, that takes some serious tools. So how in the world do we build that final precise figure? Well, it all starts with a pretty simple idea. You take this huge, complicated project and you just break it down. We call this the work breakdown structure, or WBS, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It breaks the whole thing down into smaller and smaller pieces until you have a bunch of tasks that are easy to manage and quantify. So what you get from that whole breakdown process is this incredibly detailed list of every single component needed for the project. This document has a special name, the Bill of Quantities, or BOQ, and it's basically the project's official itemized shopping list. Everything from the concrete and the foundation to the very last light fixture is on there. Now you've got your shopping list, but how do you make sure everyone who's bidding on the job is pricing the exact same stuff? You need a rule book. That's where the standard method of measurement comes in. It's this universal guide that makes sure an item like reinforced concrete is defined and measured in the exact same way by every single contractor. This is absolutely critical for getting fair and accurate bids. Right, so once we have that standardized list, we can start putting a price on every single item. We call this the unit rate, and it's always made of 2 key parts. First, the basic cost to actually do the work, and second, the markup, which covers the contractor's business costs and, of course, their profit. Let's look a little closer at that. The basic cost covers all the tangible things, the materials you're going to use, the labor you have to pay for, and the plant. That's industry speak for the equipment you need on site. The markup, on the other hand, covers the contractor's company overheads and their profit margin. This is really where the science of engineering meets the art of business. Okay, so we did it. We went from a fuzzy idea all the way down the funnel of certainty to this super precise final price, built from thousands of detailed little unit rates. So that's it, right? That's the true cost of the building? Oh, not by a long shot. It's not even close. That number we worked so hard to get, that meticulously calculated construction price, turns out it's just what you can see above the water. It's only the tip of the iceberg. Because the real story, the one that truly matters financially, unfolds over the entire life of the building. The total life cycle cost, everything it takes to run, maintain, and eventually get rid of the building, absolutely dwarfs that initial construction cost. So, what are we talking about here? What are these massive costs hiding below the waterline? Well, it's decades of routine maintenance and repairs, it's the cost of operations and staffing, it's those never-ending energy and utility bills, and then, at the very end of its life, the cost to decommission and dispose of it. And this brings us to probably the most important takeaway of all. Focusing only on that upfront construction price can be a huge, huge mistake. The cheapest building to construct is almost never the cheapest building to own. A building made with low-quality materials might cost you a fortune in repairs and energy bills down the road. So all of this leaves us with a really big question, one we have to think about. If the biggest costs are actually hidden from view, maybe we need to completely change how we decide what to build in the first place. The goal shouldn't just be to build cheaper, but to plan smarter, so that we can build better for the long haul.